Hey, Pheasant SC2. Oh, hey, Quellis. I saw your follow yesterday. I checked out your channel. Uh, it's cool. You're working on a tower defense. It looks pretty rad. Got an ad starting in a second, so I'm gonna wait a minute before starting here. You found me on YouTube. You're like the first person. You must watch a lot of Godot videos. My YouTube is my YouTube just consists of VODs from the stream, but still. That's awesome. I'm hoping to put an actual video on YouTube relatively soon, like a post-mortem for a game jam I did a couple months ago. Trying to marry Overcooked with tower defense. That sounds so rad. When do you normally stream? I want to catch some of that. There's no music today, which is very frustrating because the service I use is pretty fucked up and is not working a lot of the time. So I'm gonna explore some alternatives, see how we can get some reliable, good music on here. Yeah, pretty bummed about that. It's pretty weird to sit here for a couple hours without background music on. I'm tempted to go to do what Armis does and just have a separate audio track that I can use and listen to my own music. But I also like just having channel music going. So I don't know, we're gonna have to figure something out. I might end up changing it if I can, so that the music is only on the Twitch live stream and gets deleted from the VOD, but I'm not sure I can do that because we're multi-streaming to YouTube. But I need to look into it. I need music. Pheasant SC2 says, I think there's a lot of potential in controller-friendly strategy games that could just be cope. I think... Is that what the kids are saying nowadays? Cope? Or like co-op? Yeah, I think so. I was reading about Halo Wars recently and like everything they did to like kind of make that a thing people considered possible, like controller friendly strategy games. I mean, Tooth and Tail is like the best example, right? All right, let me get the screen share going. The ad's over, and I'm sitting in a box of silence here because my music system is broken this morning. And it feels bad, but it's awesome. Appreciate everyone coming by. This horrible box here is a prototype spaceship interior. Doesn't have any outer skin. I need to skin it with something. But it's got all of our layers. And we downloaded beta 1, 4.3 beta 1 yesterday, which introduced TileMapLayers as a node, as its own node, which is pretty awesome, instead of having the layers within a tile map. And it's fixed a lot of issues, but we need to change a lot of our code to account for this now. Evenings on Tuesdays and Thursdays are scheduled streams and additional streams when you randomly feel like it. Cool. Pacific time, or are you like some other time zone? Get this role manager out here. Willis. Get you that streamer VIP badge. Well, that's cool. I'm gonna try to check that out. Oh, Mr. Bagel, what's up? Our favorite Let's Play VTuber. Mountain time? Okay, cool. That's good to know. For Mountain time. Okay, cool, cool. I might be able to check that out after my lunch break. That's exciting. How's it going, everybody? Let me open up my other project for a second. Just because it's what we've been working on, but we've recently shifted gears. Godot engine versions. Now I have to track different engine versions, which is great. Super cool. You're up way too early. Yeah, welcome. Welcome to the morning crew. I find it's pretty easy for me to wake up early this time of year. Just because, like, the sun is up at like 5 o'clock. This is what we've been working on. It's a cool... Let me turn the music on. Where did I even put the music? Audio, maybe. Music? No. Probably under scenes. Music player. Edit. Hope that just works and doesn't cause an error. Yeah, you're spread, yeah. 5 is peak bagel time. But this is what we've been working on for like the last 2 months. It's like a jam game. This is our newest little addition, the little sea monster we put in. That kind of just comes and goes. And the goal is to use gusts of wind to safely guide ships to this temple. Not these ships, not the pirates. The pirates you want to crash into like a rock or something. But the good ships, you need to safely guide. Oh, there goes the sea monster. He's getting sleepy. Kind of risky because the gust keeps traveling across the screen. Kind of like that old air traffic control game, but with like ships. You did not crash into the rock like I wanted. Did I break the rocks? I gotta check that actually. Game's not quite done, but I'm kind of done working on it on stream. Still trying to crash the ship into this rock. I changed the rocks recently and I'm worried that I messed up their collisions. No, it worked. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is kind of the state of the game. We have some different spells that we can use. Probably like here, because we need to separate these out a little bit. That was not the right call. Everyone's just going in a whirl. Like a whirligig. Yeah, this is kind of what we've been working on. I'm kind of done with it. I've got some more stuff I need to do off stream, like record some additional music, work out some bugs. But pretty happy with this. Hey, Otagon. How's it hanging? We're going back to the quote-unquote main project now, which is our FTL-like in Godot. We're making a kind of side-on isometric FTL-like game. And I just downloaded the Godot 4.3 beta. 4.3 beta 1, which has some exciting new things in it. For us, the most exciting thing is the new tilemap node. The TileMapLayer node. Super awesome. Treats tilemap layers as individual nodes, solves a lot of z-indexing issues and other things. Pretty awesome. Kind of a feature we had started engineering around before we're on hiatus for the jam. And I'm kind of glad we took a break because we would have over-engineered the hell out of our solution. And they ended up just having a new TileMapLayer node that fixes it. There's some other pretty cool stuff in here. But that's what we really want. That's what we really needed. So we've been mainly dealing with refactoring. So this stream is going to get pretty boring pretty quickly, I think, because it's mainly going to be just rewriting our code to split out the concept of layers. I actually want to change some of this. I had a tile map layer for crew members. I'm going to not do that. Get rid of that. I was thinking about it. I thought it would be kind of cool in one way, but I thought about it further and I realized there were some pretty serious problems with it. So we're not going to put moving actors in the tile maps, because moving them from tile map to tile map would be really tedious. Let's get rid of those. We have some export variables we need to set now then. Okay, I can't do it because we have a bunch of errors here. I wanted to change the way this worked because I was having a bunch of input handling in these lower level entities like the ship interior or the individual ship layers. I want to move some of this functionality back to the input handler. What I want to do. So we need a cutaway accumulator, vector 3. We also need cutaway coordinates, which is a vector 3i. I really hate that I have no music, but Pretzel Rocks is like the worst. And it's stuck in a loop right now where it keeps asking me to connect my YouTube channel so that it can play YouTube safe music, which I don't understand why that would be a requirement. I guess they need to like notify the content ID system, even though I've been using this service for like 6 months. I think it's just in a broken state at the moment, which has been pretty annoyingly common for them. So I'm pretty unhappy with Pretzel Rocks. Would not recommend. Actively looking for alternatives. You're a VIP. You're a Godot streamer. Play Freebird. Why Vectors 3 isn't this a 2D? We are, yes. They're vector 3s because we need to, our cutaway system, it will let you cut away X and Y, so to let us peel away these wall tiles. But we also need to go up and down. So we need to track the Z as well. So that's why it's a vector 3. So we want to go to the ship interior, which I don't love this. I think I might rename this. We're still figuring out our hierarchy. I've added some nodes in between the different tile map layers just so we can do simple things like trigger the visibility of all of them and put a script on them that manages them. It's going to be interesting moving creatures between the individual tile map layers. Not creatures, but, you know, move it. Well, yeah, kind of creatures, but that's partly why I removed the concept of a tile map layer where the tile map pieces would move, because I didn't want to deal with that. So now we're just going to have static entities in each layer. There will be a floor layer, a wall layer, a door layer, and a decorations layer. I think that'll be adequate for now. You can always change it. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Still project zomboiding. Mr. Bagel? Has your character died? I feel like that game must be full of like hard resets, right? Like you build up all this progress and then just like you die. And when you die, do you just get a new character in the same world, or does the world have to like does the world itself like hard reset? I'm curious. Oh, you've been playing Elden Ring as well? Cool. I should go back into that. When I played Elden Ring at launch, I picked like apparently like one of the hardest builds. I was like a shield wielding like melee guy. It's been recommended to me that I should go back and try that game again, but play like a magic user or something. Something a little more fun. It's maybe doesn't rely on the skill that I don't have. All right. So this part. We want this part. We want to set this cutaway accumulator. So where do we have all that? That's probably in the old ship interior, or the old shipboard. Probably have all of this code in a row, and we can just grab all of it. No, we don't. Is it here? Oh, it's right here. Okay. I guess it's just that. You die in PZ. Oh, it depends on how you play. Okay, if you die in PZ, you can create a new character in the same world. Okay. But a lot of people will start a new world. That makes some sense. It's like the Iron Man run kind of deal. Cool. We don't need to set the Z by itself. We can just say vector 3 .z. We do want to levels. This levels per ship thing is the issue here. We actually need to know what this is, which is unfortunate. That's fine because I think we actually are kind of hard coded for. I don't know. We actually might need to ask. So let's instead of calling this the ship interior. I don't know. I guess what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to know what the active ship is. Because that might change. Or how about ship in focus? Because the ship in focus is going to be the one. Making a node 2D for now. Yeah, whatever the ship in focus is, that's the one we need to know about. So we're going to need to. I don't love how I'm doing this. We can kind of cheat a little bit for now. Let's just cheat for now and let's put this one in here. Will that work? I don't think this will work. We'll need to do something like get node root game manager game manager. We'll be taking the spaces out of these probably. Game manager ship interior. I want to be consistent. We're going to take the spaces out. We could add underscores in here, but Oh, I really don't like the silence. If anyone knows of some good alternative YouTube and Twitch safe music players, hit me up. That's the real hard part because I think getting a Twitch safe music player is really easy, but getting one that's also YouTube safe, I think that's maybe why Pretzel Rocks has kind of a racket on this sort of thing. They still won't let me do it. Error at line 32. Oh, I see. That's the Z. We also need the X and the Y. Oh, yeah, the cutaway minimum per level. This actually might not be super doable in the screw copyright law. Yeah, easy. This system needs to know a lot about the ship that's currently in focus. So we're also going to need to know about, we'll need to not only know the ship in focus, we're also going to need to know which level is in focus. Quickly not being the smartest thing to do that this way. Yeah. I don't know. Some other streamers just have you listen to your own music. He's like Aramis is the big example where he listens to his own music and you can't hear it because it's on like a separate channel. He's like, "How about you just listen to your own Spotify and we just hang out together?" And I think that works for a lot of people. I mean, it doesn't seem to cause him any issues. He's a much bigger streamer than us. But I don't know. I might do that. I might end up doing that just because of how annoying this is. But I would like to find a radio. I'd like us to be able to kind of vibe on some chill early morning music. But I guess it's also not early morning for everyone, so I should think about that too. All right, so how does this cutaway accumulator work? So we're clamping between the minimum and the maximum. So let's grab these. No, I don't think I'm at that point yet, but that's a nice thought. So it needs to be, so it's not levels per ship because we don't have that constant. What we need to do is look at our interior ship. We need to say, oh, this is the interior ship level. We need to look at the, I need to do some renaming of some things. So you need to know highest visible level integer. This is an integer. Highest visible. It's actually highest visible level index. So let's just keep these here. Variable highest. Let's keep the index and the level. We'll say highest visible level index equals ship level count minus 1. We'll say highest visible level is interior ship levels highest visible level index. Oh, this isn't an integer. It's going to be a node 2D. You didn't know about clamp F? Yeah, I've been trying to use... I come from like a more statically typed world, so I've been... Anytime I'm given the option of working on a variant or working on a specific type, I am trying to work on the specific type more from habit than anything else. Okay, so now we'll keep track of the index and we'll keep track of the level because we're going to need to refer to this. So now we're going to need to say something like here we're going to need to say ship in focus dot ship level count minus 1. Should work. Oh, we need another closing parentheses. Oh, and a comma. Cutaway accumulator.x, cutaway accumulator.y. Cutaway minimum per level. Okay, so this is where we plug in ship in focus. This might be more trouble than it's worth, honestly, keeping track of all this stuff. Highest visible level dot cutaway min. Dot x. Does that work? Let's follow that down real quick. Oh, I haven't shortened them. I call it minimum and maximum. I don't need to do that. I also don't need that. We'll come back and clean that up. We got ads in a minute. I'll just chill for a minute and eat some toast. Have the rest of my coffee, which is getting quite cold. I need to put like an electric coffee kettle like right here. I do have an electric teacup that will keep my tea hot, but it won't. I'd still need to go boil the water and like brew the tea and stuff. But yeah, I'm sure there's no problem putting like electric kettles with water next to a computer. Especially a computer on a standing desk that goes up and down. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm taking out this max per level stuff. X. Oh, because it's not. It's ship and focus dot highest visible level dot. Yeah. This should work. It's a little convoluted. And it's probably like kind of unnecessarily expensive. But it does break out some common functionality so that we don't actually need to have it on each individual level. Because otherwise we'd need to just be doing these checks on each individual node that might need them. I'd rather just do them all centrally at the top and then distribute them as needed. And this way this can change. So if the ship in focus changes, like if we've got a hero ship in focus and then you bring a different ship in focus, like maybe an enemy ship or something, all of this will just switch over. It might act kind of weird, but it should just all switch over pretty easily. So that's how we set the cutaway accumulator. I don't think we need to set these individual. But I think it's fine. You may want to act on the raw inputs. Okay, now we just need to floor it down to the coordinate. Which, how did we used to do that? We just floored it, right? Yeah. Floor I takes a float, gives us an int. That's what we want. Type safety. Oh, casting rounds by default here? That's cool. I would have expected it to truncate, but which is effectively flooring, right? Not exactly the way they've implemented, but that's cool. It's good to know. So we'll say cutaway coordinates is vector 3i. And we'll just take each piece and floor it. Vector 3 have its own floor function? That'd be cool. Does not. Sound of silence is killing me. Sure, it's bothering other people less, but makes me feel like I have to talk more, you know? Just to fill the silence. I guess I should be doing anyway. I am streaming. Okay. So this should give us the cutaway coordinates. We don't really need to... We do need to keep track of the accumulator, so the accumulator can't be a local variable. I think the accumulator should work a little differently. Like maybe we don't need to track the coordinates here. Maybe the accumulator just goes between 0, just because it's between -1 and 1. And then anytime it's over 1 or -1, we let whoever is interested know that the coordinates have shifted. That's probably a better way to do this that requires less awareness. Yeah, that sounds way better. It made more sense to do it this way when I was doing the accumulation like locally to whoever needed it. But if I'm going to do the accumulation globally, then what we really want to do is just we'll call down. So we still want to know who the ship in focus is. We don't really need to know. Well, we kind of still want to know what the level. No, we'll just let the ship in focus handle it. Here's what we'll do. We're going to actually we're going to keep track of the game manager. The game manager is going to know which ship is in focus. Cutaway speed, we don't need here anymore. Get rid of the cutaway accumulator or the cutaway coordinates. We'll just do the accumulation here. We'll add a game manager script. Right, and we'll add a variable ship in focus. A node 2D at the moment. We'll probably get more into custom classes later. At the moment, we don't really care. Here we'll say ship in focus is get child. We'll say get node. Get node. Actually, we can do a shortcut here at the moment. This will break. Very quickly break. But we'll just do it like this for now. We only have the one ship, so we don't need to worry about multiple ships. And then here we'll add some code about passing information back down. So we're back at the input handler. The input handler no longer knows about a bunch of stuff. Oh, we do need to know about the cutaway speed. Get that back in here. Okay, so what we're going to do instead, we're going to change how all of this works. I'm going to say cutaway accumulator is vector 3. Now we just need it to, so we'll say cutaway accumulator x plus cutaway input force dot And we're not clamping it. So we'll calculate it. We'll check to see if it's gone over 1. We'll do some calling down if it has. And then we'll reset it. Seems reasonable. Let's do this the simplest way possible first, and then we'll get complicated. So now we're just going to be adding this stuff. I kind of want to change the way I do this part, but let's not. It works. I just don't love, I don't know. I guess having the speed here is fine. I don't know. This is the part that I liked about doing the jam, is I didn't have time to like obsessively think and redo stuff. I just had to like go with whatever worked the first time. Whereas now I'm free to like overthink architecture and stuff and nitpick things indefinitely. Can I say like any? Now we need to just check to see if any of the accumulators components went over. Hey, Forlansky. How's it going? I mean, the simplest way to do this is to go component by component and check, but that's kind of stupid. Let's say like we define a bool like cutaway ticked over. I would say accumulated ticked over, I guess. Actually, I guess let's generate this accumulator tick. I don't know if tick is the right word. I want to floor the accumulator and seal it, right? I want to floor it to know if it's gone over 1. And I want to seal it if I know it's to know if it's gone under -1. Okay, we're kind of rethinking inputs, calculating inputs here, even though I don't love this. We were trying to break the inputs out from calculating them in the scene tree, in these lower level things, having everyone just listening to the input. We're just trying to do it up top at an auto load input handler. But we needed a lot of information from down in the tree. We needed to know like which ship was in focus, what the highest visible level was, what their like minimum and maximums were. And so now we're just going to do it a little differently. We're going to just have the accumulator. The input handler will check if the accumulator's ticked over or under. And it will fire some stuff off. Accumulator tick over. Accumulator ticked over is going to be a comparison. It's going to be a comparison of this vector, 3i, we really just need to know if any of these have gone over, right? Probably do this as like an... Let's just get the ticks first. How's your project going? They cut away accumulator.x. They floor I. Wrapping up tonight to submit. That's so psyched. No idea what to do after that's done. That's fine. Rest on your laurels for a bit. That's awesome. I'm gonna really try to get our this channel's Discord up this weekend and just like good enough that I can share the invite link out. We can start sharing our projects because yeah, I want to check that out once it's done. That's awesome. But yeah, it's pretty great. You have some options with the jam game, right? You can either, if you're happy with it and you think you did what you like as much as you could do, just be done with it. If not, if there's more that you want to do, if it's got legs, I mean, just fork, branch, make a new branch and make a post jam branch and just keep working on it. I mean, I did it for a couple of months. I'm pretty happy with all the extra stuff we got in my jam game. Didn't have long enough legs to, warrant working on it indefinitely, but it was a good exercise. Okay, so, and then also accumulator ticked under. So basically it's this, so it's actually a comparison. It's this vector 3i, and accumulator ticked over is this vector 3i greater than vector 3.0, right? Oh, vector 3i.0. And then we'll just get a bool. So if the accumulator ticked over, we'll do something. If anyone hates how I organize these, it's just because I have a very limited amount of screen space, and I really don't like when everything runs off the screen. I mean, if it's an obvious assignment like a get access, I don't really care, but I like being able to see everything. Yeah, might polish it. I don't think it's got the legs. Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's part of the problem with jams, is I think to do a good job at a jam, you need to pick a game that's like completable within the time limit. So it needs to be scoped small. Some people are really good at like just making their jam game like basically a tutorial. So like you can imagine where it would go. and like they just do the tutorial for the jam, like basically the introduction, and it's like kind of obvious how it could expand out into like a more finished game. But yeah, I think if you, unless you're smart enough with the design like that, I think you end up just making a nice small tight game that isn't going to be this huge thing and doesn't really have the architecture for it. Oh no, you can't find your mic stand. Just duct tape it to your face. It should be fine. All right, CLI, Sealy, cut away, accumulator.x. I should probably just use seal. No, it works on a variant, but oh, there is a vector. Vector3 dot seal returns a new vector, but it returns a vector3, right? Huh. Vector3i. I don't think you have the same. Oh, you have a clamp. You have a clamp, but not. You have a clamp, a max, a min, a sign. I mean, I guess sign would work. I guess it doesn't matter. The tutorial idea is clever, almost like a demo of a bigger game. Yeah, that's kind of that's how I've often told it, because most people are only going to play your jam game once. So it really should just be like a demo or a tutorial. Well, let's do the average YouTuber thing and duct tape the mic to a spatula. Yeah. You could do the MMA thing and hang it from the ceiling. That'd be pretty good. You could grab it and bring it closer for emphasis. Do we care whether it ticked over or under? I guess we don't. We just care that it ticked one way or the other. And then so now this is the part where we call down. So we'll say if accumulator ticked over or accumulator ticked under, over or under. This is where we say something like, call down signal upright. So we should call down to the game manager. Game manager. So you need a function. You need a function like on accumulator ticked over or under. Being very verbose today with my variable namings. Yeah, Quellis, exactly. Yeah. In the blue corner, we have Godot. In the red corner, we have Godot 3D. Red versus blue. Godot 2D versus Godot Red 3D versus Godot 3D. All right, this is fine. Let's go implement this over on the game manager now. We don't have a ready variable that we need. We can get rid of all this junk for now. We don't need cutaway input force up here. That's a purely local variable for now. Honestly, get rid of these. Don't need a process right now. What we do need is a change anything? It does, interesting. What did we call this? On accumulator ticked over or under. I'm gonna say on cutaway accumulator ticked over or under. For someone who wants to make maximum use of their, or someone who doesn't want a lot of horizontal, who doesn't have a lot of horizontal space to work with, certainly making long function and variable names. Kind of like this. It minimizes the number of process things, handling process stuff. And I don't know if I really care so much in Godot about that, but my old Unity brain is like try to have as few things constantly updating as possible. So if we can do all of this in an autoloader and then call down to the game manager, and then the game manager can do with it what it will, we're avoiding a bunch of different stuff just holding on to input. Yeah, we can get rid of all this stuff here. We do want this logic. We got ads in a second, but we're not doing anything exciting. Appreciate everyone hanging around for what is like obviously like one of the more boring things that we could be doing. It was really nice having with the jam game having something playable at all times, so I could just constantly be hopping into the game and stuff was happening. But we're back to just kind of working on systems for a minute, and there really isn't any behavior to look at. I do want to look at the art maybe today or tomorrow and think about getting rid of these outlines. Part of me likes them and part of me does not. I mostly don't like them because of what's going to happen with the external. Like, this background is not blue. The background is going to be black. And so the outlines will just disappear into the blackness of space. So I kind of want to get rid of these and just repaint these without outlines. We had no outlines in the Jam game, and that was pretty nice. So I kind of want to try a version of some of this art without outlines. Like if you look here, there's no outlines here. Not really. I mean, there's outlines on the doors and the walls, like back here. And there's outlines framing the whole scene. But everything inside here is outline free. Personally, this backbone architecture stuff is your jam. That's nice to hear. It is not my jam. Just because I am like not a good programmer. I'm not a person who would just work on an engine to work on an engine, to figure stuff out. I'm like not an engine programmer. I'm barely even like a systems programmer or a game programmer. I'm a that'll do programmer. Like however I can most simply express my thought, that's what I do. But I'm not good enough to be able to express thoughts simply. That's like the fun trade-off. So what we're going to have, so we've got the input handler accumulating inputs. Whenever the accumulator ticks over or under. Oh, we missed something here. We need to send the input. So we need to send the cutaway accumulator. Or we need to... Yeah, no, we need to send it. Right? We need to send something else. Maybe we need to send these. Like the floors and the seals. Thing is, it could tick over and under in the same frame. Like you could be going up in one axis and down in the other, and it could do both. So we can't just send one. So we probably should just send the accumulator itself and let them figure it out. But we also, once we've sent the accumulator, we need to reset it. So we need to... Oh, we need to know... We need to reason a lot more about what's happening here. Unless we just want to reset all of them anytime any of them change. I don't love that. We really only want to reset ones that have gone over or under, and we want to leave the others. We want to leave the other components. I mean, the simplest thing to do is to go through each component and then say if it's over 0 or under 0, or if it's over 0, or I guess we want the floored version. We want to look at this. Berlansky, you're a software dev by trade, but never get to do this meaty ground up stuff. You just layer simple features on top of an existing product. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So out of work projects are where you get to scratch that itch. Yeah, doing stuff from scratch is interesting. You get to challenge a lot of assumptions. And for me, I quickly realize what things I've never thought about before. I'm like, oh, I've never thought about this problem, and I have no idea how to solve it. So yeah, maybe we don't just send the raw accumulator. Maybe we do some more reasoning about it, because we need to know how to reset this. So we actually need to know which of these. So I want to store this as a variable, I guess. we'll call this maybe, let's say variable accumulator floored is, we'll just grab this. This isn't enough indentation, I'm realizing. Supposed to be double indented. We'll keep these because we want to reason about them. I guess the simplest thing to do, and kind of the dumbest, is to just do a match of the possible. No. Oh, wait. Oh no, match won't work. I don't know. Maybe match can work. Match. Can I get to the docs for match? No. I need to go separately. I guess I should just have a few if statements and check the components individually. So like if the X component is over or under, then we'll just reset that component. We do it component by component. Just trying to. So if I don't put a break, I could execute all of the cases of a match, right? Oh, no, it won't. Okay. After that, the patterns are matched from top to bottom. If the pattern matches, the first corresponding block will be executed. After that, the execution continues below the match statement. The special continue behavior and match supported in 3x was removed. Okay, so we can't do that anymore. I was thinking about doing a wildcard pattern using multiple components. So you say, it's like this, where you have an array, but like one of the components is a wildcard, so you like don't care. But that won't totally work here. Okay. So yeah, the simplest thing to do will just be if accumulator floor dot x greater than 0, accumulator floored dot x is 0. So we'll do that. We need to do that under this part. We need to do that later. We need to do that at the end. So we'll say if accumulator floored greater than vector 3I dot 0, not that 0. Or accumulator dot accumulator sealed is less than vector 3I dot 3I dot 0. Simpler code is better code. Here comes Enamoth screaming into the chat with just the wisdom. Put the sealed one first. Simpler code is better code, but I love it when I can figure out an expression or something that like doesn't rely on these like sequential ifs and stuff. But then I do have to tell myself that whole thing about there are so many games that have shipped that are just like giant switch statements, like Undertale or whatever, or like or there'll just be like a series of like hundreds or thousands of like if statements, like sequential if statements. that's maybe my favorite thing about games programming is that no one really cares what happens under the hood. They only really care about the behavior. So it's going to be here. So we'll only do this. We only need to do this in this case. We can actually we don't actually need it to be that. It can just say accumulator sealed.x equals 0 if actually we don't want to do it as a ternary because there's no alternative variable value we care about. We'll just do this. We'll do this for every single component because that's like the simplest thing to do. That poor Undertale dev is always mentioned. I mean, it's the best example. There's probably some great examples as well that like people just don't hear about. Should it be 0? No, it should be the opposite. I want to flip these. I don't know why. Well, if the sealed one is less than 0, then we just do this again for each component. And it's ugly, but it works. It's simple. It's very clear what's going on. It only happens when the accumulator ticks over anyway, so who cares? I kind of want to know which it is the problem. But I guess that's not super practical. Because I have to account for the possibility that it could tick over and under. Like X could tick over and Y could tick under on the same frame. So I kind of have to send all of it. Or I have to combine them. I guess I could combine them, huh? I could combine accumulator sealed with accumulator floored. Because the one thing that can't happen is that the same component ticks over and under in the same frame. That can't happen, but different components could. So I could just combine these two. That's what I should do. We can send the ceiling plus floor and the floored. Sealed plus accumulator dot floored. That should work. AAA games have gotten incredibly hard to run for no reason, so if they're not efficient, guess we don't have to be, right? Yeah, that's a good point. That's like when someone shows you like a really old IBM machine that like basically ran like an enormous like terminal like database. Like it basically ran an enormous like web-based app essentially, even though it was like an internal network, and it could like handle like millions of processes, like, and it's just using like less computer power than like your refrigerator. And nowadays we need like a supercomputer just to add a few numbers together. But I'm not Jonathan Blow, so I'm not gonna just complain about the inefficiency of modern computing. Mainly because, unlike him, I'm not able to then make an operating system in response to it. Yeah, yeah. Simplest mobile game is pretty big. I like that about 2D and Godot games. Like our distributables are like so tiny. Like I think the Windows standalone build for like my jam game was like 37 megabytes or something like that. I mean, even the new version of Dwarf Fortress is like pretty small. I'm gonna keep track of these booleans. So I'm gonna do so that I can use them a little later. I don't need to make this a separate variable, but I want to just so I can see what I'm passing along here. I don't know. Actually, who cares? Who cares about that? But I do want to keep track of this conditional so that we can just use it afterwards for resetting. Didn't someone remake Windows in a way that it actually idled at 0% CPU usage just to prove it's just bloated? Yeah, I'm sure they did. That sounds believable. I've definitely heard of some ways that you can cut a lot of the bloat out of Windows. They landed on the moon with less than a megabyte. Yeah, exactly. It'll only change if hardware as a service gets popular. That's an interesting idea. That depends on like an incredibly reliable like global network though. Yeah, we'll see. Access to good bandwidth is still like really tough. Like I'm in like San Francisco, so I can get like gigabit fiber like incredibly cheap without having like throttled upload and stuff like that. But I know that's like the exception, not the rule. We'll say if accumulator ticked over or accumulator ticked under. Say all right, this is good enough. We're now at least resetting. We're resetting the individual components that ticked over or under. If we've ticked over, we'll go through each component and see which ones did, and we'll reset them. Same with here. We'll go through each component. Under. Floored. Oh, not accumulator floored. We need accumulator.x equals 0. Oh, cut away accumulator. guess it can just be 0. This 0 doesn't really matter. All right. There, we did it. That part's done. The Lost City of Zed comes in and says, "Hey, dude, you know it's okay to use Unity, right?" Yeah, I used Unity for as a hobbyist. I used Unity for like almost 15 years. The last few years, the last 3 or 4 years, I was using their Dots ECS, their data-oriented tech stack with ECS. I liked it. Thought it was pretty good. Unity, the game engine, is pretty great. Unity, the company, is less so. I like the direction the engine itself, the technology, is heading in. I do not like the direction the company is headed in. And I'm actually like a small 2D pixel art game dev. And so Unity's cool for 3D. I think if I was making a 3D game, I would have to seriously think about whether I wanted to use Godot 3D or like Unreal or even Unity. But since I'm doing pixel art 2D, I actually don't think you can get better than Godot. I mean, maybe Game Maker. But yeah. Godot's 2D support, having everything be tied to the pixel, like having the coordinates and the pixels be one and the same, and having pixel perfect display, pixel perfect collision, that stuff, that is, I consider that is incomparable. All right, so we got that. The input handler is done. Let's trash the rest of this. All right, the input handler will now, when it ticks over the accumulator, it will now fire off to the game manager. Send them a simpler version of the accumulator, which is just the given components that ticked over and under. And now we need the game manager to do something with that input. You can make a game in Microsoft PowerPoint. Yeah. I mean, what you do at home is your business, Zed. Yeah. We were handling input. So we had vector 3s, and that's because we're kind of doing FTL, but we're kind of doing a spin on it, where instead of one deck, there's multiple decks. So there's multiple levels to the ship. So we are tracking the Z in terms of input. So that's why we had some vector 3s. But yeah, I could see how that made you think I was working in 3D. I'm obsessed with taking these the line numbers that are gray. I'm obsessed with doing whatever it takes to make them green. And I guess that means casting. It's fine. Kind of cool. Yeah, like these ones are gray. So I would need to say like bool. Like I would need to declare the type. Did that not work? That doesn't work? Helen, it's a bool. Why isn't this gray turning green, man? Not type safe even with the bool. Okay, whatever. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. I mean, I feel like maybe you're trolling me about watching the stream the way you are. But are you by happenstance somewhere amidst this like crazy heat wave that we've got now in the Southwest? Because that would explain it to me. The heat this summer is getting crazy right now. It can go green. Yeah, so the I don't know if it's super clear on the stream, but these line numbers will be gray or green, and the green lets you know that whatever you're doing is like type safe, like the engine can intuit like what you're doing. And you're supposed to get some speed up from it. That's like why GDScript has optional type safety. But maybe it doesn't matter for some things. Like it doesn't matter if this is green, but it's cool when things that are actually doing operations are green, because it means you know you're like, if I just had seal and it was operating on variants, I don't think the variant, because it's not aware of the variant type at compile time, it wouldn't be considered green. I'm not sure, but it seems cool. They've gamified it to an extent. Okay, so we're at the game manager. We've got our on cutaway accumulator ticked over or under. We will call this accumulator ticks. And it will be a vector 3i. So we can pass that information down. Oh, okay, you're drying off. All right. Careful throwing stuff out like that into chat. I feel like you might end up getting like timed out or banned. Hey, for Lancegate, got a dash. All right, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. This has been fun. We're doing something pretty boring, but this has been a pretty fun stream. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna call down to whatever the ship is in focus, and we're going to say pick. I don't know. We're gonna say cutaway coordinates. Let's say maybe not increment or decrement. Is there an increment or decrement that's like that doesn't specify whether it's one or the other? I guess that's just like change. I don't know. Change, cutaway, coordinate values. I don't know. Update, maybe? I like to change cutaway coordinates because it's got alliteration. But that doesn't really make sense to me. Update cutaway coordinate values will pass along the accumulator ticks. This is definitely a little inefficient as we're just calling down and calling down. And we're gonna call down one more time, actually. We're gonna call down from the ship interior. I don't want to rename. Because we actually care about the accumulator, whether we're talking about the ship interior or exterior. And actually, we maybe don't want to distinguish between them for reasons of like airlocks and stuff. Maybe we do. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. Because it would be cool if people could walk on the outside of the ship. But we'll leave it. We'll call it this for now. Okay, so now ship interior. So this is where we actually start doing stuff. So we're going to say what was this called? It was like update. I call it update cutaway coordinate values. It really is increment or decrement. maybe call it that, increment or decrement. Cutaway coordinates. What it is, it's increment or decrement cutaway coordinates. I'm really curious if there's a crement that like that doesn't care whether you're going in and out. It's like a neutral. Time to go to a dictionary. All right, we have a commercial break. I'm going to look up some words. Okay, yeah, increment does expressly mean a discrete increase. I assume its antonym is decrement. From increscere to grow. Decrement. From decrementum, diminution. From decrescere. Yeah, so maybe there isn't a neutral a neutral one of these. Necroment. I don't think that means the right thing either. But hey, bosses of sauces, how's it going? We've downloaded Godot 4.3 beta 1, which introduces the awesome TileMapLayer. So we've had to totally rearrange our tile maps by layer, because each tile map layer is its own node in 4.3. Pretty awesome. But it kind of broke all of our stuff. So we're kind of starting from the root, and we've rethought out our input, how we're going to handle inputs, because we redid our scene tree, and we're kind of working our way down the tree now that we've got our inputs. So ship in focus is going to increment or decrement their cutaway coordinates using the accumulator ticks that we got from the input handler. And so let's go to the ship interior, which is currently the thing handling it, only because there is no concept of a ship exterior at the moment. Increment or decrement cutaway coordinates. Accumulator ticks vector 3i void. So this is the part where we're going to do what's here. We're going to figure out our current level. So our current level is going to be I guess I could have just said increment, because it's like we're incrementing and then we're potentially incrementing a negative number. So I don't know. I feel like that's weird. I don't mind having these stupid long function calls. I like that better than just having a function call that just says like, tell Steve about the thing. And you're like, one, what's the thing? Two, who's Steve? And you're like, you have no idea what your functions do. So I don't mind crazy verbose naming. But I really don't have a lot of real estate to use using the Godot built-in IDE here. I guess I could break it out. Like I could full screen it, but I find myself bouncing between the different modes, like between the editor and the nodes and stuff so often. I do really enjoy having it embedded. Like I do have Rider, and I could just be using JetBrains Rider, and I feel like in some cases I may do that at some point, just so I can have like side by side and do some different things. But everything so far has been like really fully functional. Like the debugger is great in the engine. I haven't missed anything so far. So let's say highest visible level index. So the highest visible level index, well, let's say variable. Let's say call this the accumulated level index is accumulator ticks. So it's actually going to be highest visible level index. It's actually going to be a clamp. It's going to be clamp I, the highest visible level index, plus the accumulator ticks. We'll clamp it between that. Clamp it between that, 0, and ship level count -1. Rider has great Vim emulation. Oh, just learned Vim. Vim seems cool. I definitely would be more interested in exploring something like Vim than I would going over to like VS Code or like Visual Studio. Like I like Rider. The Rider's IntelliJ stuff is cool too. Or JetBrains. The JetBrains all of the JetBrains tools are pretty cool. So I think I prefer those for like full IDEs, but I'm kind of interested. I'm not a good programmer. So I don't know how much I would get out of like switching to like I think I don't do enough like programming to really know much of the difference or to really have a smart. I need to deal with this compile error that's somewhere here. Here, isn't it? Why won't this work anymore? I got rid of a bunch of concepts. Yeah, we'll have to deal with that in a second. Using ReSharper at the moment in Visual Studio. Okay. I actually just re-upped my Rider subscription, and I'm like, I don't know why I did it. I'm just only ever working in the engine. I guess if I ever start doing GD extension stuff, like if I ever start coding in like some C++ like GD extensions, I'll want to have an IDE. So I guess it'll be good to have Rider on hand for that. Okay, so what we're doing is saying we're the cumulative. I get so obsessed with wording for no reason. Cumulative level index is the highest visible level index currently, plus the accumulator ticks.z, clamped to 0 and ship level count -1. That's right. And then so what we're going to say then is if accumulative level index is not... They just added this. They added plain English... this plain English comparison, I think. Let me see. Let's see. Let me look for not equals. Let me look for equals. Equals? Not in here? I could have sworn I was reading through this and it was like, oh yeah, it was GDScript. What do they do? Is not. So you can negatively compare types more naturally with the is not operator. That's pretty awesome. I like their little plain English syntax. And I've been annoyed when I've had to write not equals. So does this work now? For whatever? Or is this only comparing types? I mean, that's their example, but I feel like I should be able to compare values. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. Pretty happy with this. I assume this will let me compare values, and not just... It's not just type comparison, but let's try it. If a cumulative level index... maybe this isn't equals to... is not the same. Maybe this isn't the same as not equal. But let's try it anyway. Is not highest. I mean, I probably shouldn't do it this way. I should probably check to see if accumulator ticks Z is not 0. Instead of doing it this way. I guess we want to know if we're shifting. I'll need to do this comparison either way. Not highest visible. Because if the visible level, the highest visible level has changed, we need to do some stuff. I don't think this is gonna, I don't think that works. Expected else after ternary operator condition. Oh, so thinks this is like a ternary operator. So maybe this is just for type comparison. So I could say like accumulated level index is not int. That would work. Thought they said this worked. Maybe I'm misreading how this functions. You can also negatively compare types, the is not operator. So I've got a variable. Oh well, it doesn't do what I wanted to do, so... Or have I messed up? Oh, I didn't close this out. Never mind. Maybe it does work the way I want it to. Okay, so it is just type comparison. That's fine. So I still need to do not equals. Okay, so if the accumulative level index is not equal to the highest visible level index... Should it not be accumulative? Should it just be cumulative? I get weirdly obsessed with English, with English issues here. Cumulative level index. That's what we're going to call it. So if the cumulative level index is not equal to this, that's when we do this part. So we'll just grab the logic from here. We'll say... We'll plug this in. Oh no, we'll say that, and then we'll say this. We say highest visible level index is cumulative level index. Do we want to also store the node? I feel like we do. We clean up the old one. Oh, we don't need to do that. Current highest visible level as its topmost level value. We switch it. We get the new one, tell the new one it's the topmost level. I don't think we're calling it is topmost level anymore. I think we changed the name to is highest visible level. Yeah, we did. Okay, so in theory, that part works now. So that's if we need to change the level, we change the level. Now that we've changed the level, we can do the rest of what we need to do, which is to highest visible level dot we want to do it here. No, we want to now call down again increment or decrement away coordinates. It ticks. So we'll pass this down one more time. Oh, Bosses of Sauces. Thank you for the follow. What are you working on? Seem to be doing a lot of stuff. You're learning Vim. Are you doing some Godot stuff? Got about 10 more minutes for today. WinUI 3, C#. Okay. So not so much in games, or do you have a lot of your own kind of custom stuff, custom tools and stuff that you're using? Excuse me. I talked a lot this morning. My throat kind of hurts. It really is a difference not having the music. I'm not pleased about that, but I was also kind of getting bored of the Pretzel Rocks stations anyway, so we need to figure something else out. Okay, so we're calling down yet again. I don't want to just send down just the XY, but I can't just do accumulator ticks.xy. I kind of wish Godot had that. I could have done that. That's fine. Pass the Z, even though we aren't going to need it. Now let's go down one more level. We're doing this just so we're calling down all the time just so we don't need to know. We can encapsulate a lot more information, so we can get rid of that. Why are you doing so much here? A little concerning. So I guess we can get rid of this for now. We don't currently need a process function. We do need a ready function because we need to just specify. I gotta rename this. Not game related, but you like to watch the process. Oh, okay. I'm my virtual coworker today. Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, I know that's true for Enomoth too. I know you're not really. You're doing much more serious work than we are right now. But yeah, it's nice to have the co-working. I do have a meeting right at 10, so we can't run long again today. So I'm probably going to try to just finish this chain of updating the coordinates. So let's go down to the interior ship level, which is our tile map, our actual tile map layer. We've been trying to just pass the inputs all the way down here. Wait, why do you extend TileMapLayer? That's not right. You don't extend TileMapLayer. You extend Node 2D. That's going to break some things. So we need to... Man, we're going to need to go even farther. Cool. We're going to need to actually do the tile data update stuff. I mean, that's cool because we can really limit which tile maps are updating, which is good because we really want to only do that when it's absolutely necessary. So yeah, I didn't think about that. We're actually going to need to feed some additional information down to the individual tile map layers, of which we need at least 4. We need the floors, the walls, the doors, and the decorations. Got deck plates, hall plates, door panels, and decorations. We might need additional, well, depending on if we want to start stacking decorations on the same tile. We'll see how we're going to do that. We're going to need to come up with a pretty complex way of doing that because we still want like to have a ship editor in this game. Maybe you can't like change the structure of the ship. Maybe that won't change. But I would like you to at least be able to like redo some of the interior stuff maybe. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how much we want. Because, I mean, FTL doesn't let you do that. There's no real need for us to do that. Okay, so what are we doing here? So we can forget about the accumulator. We can forget about this is high. Actually, we can forget about almost all of this. So all we're going to need to do, let's hold on to this for a moment. Let's maybe comment it out. We'll keep it here for the moment, just so we can see it. And we'll make our new function, which is going to be func increment or decrement cutaway coordinates. Did I say that, or did I say cutaway coordinate values? No, we just called it cutaway coordinates. I think we could just call it increment. Simplify this. But I don't know. Accumulator ticks. We might name it. We might rename that something else. But for now, it's accumulator ticks. So now we finally got down to the actual specific level that we're interested, which is either, it's either like, in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, counting up from the bottom. It's maybe not the right way to think about it. I might want to rename these. That's 4. I feel like I had a reason I was counting from the bottom instead of from the top. But I think that had to do with the Z indexing. I wanted the level numbers to match the Z index numbers to an extent. So maybe we keep that. But yeah, so now we're going to need... Now we've identified which of the actual levels we want to deal with. Did we do the thing where we hide the entire... Okay, here we go. So when we set the highest visible level here, if... Okay, then we just set our visibility. And so if the ship interior dot highest visible level index, the ship interior, so we go back up to our parent. We say, okay, you've set our is highest visible level value, either true or false. And then we look and we say, is the highest visible level index greater than or equal to our level height? So if it is higher, we want our visibility to be true. If it's not higher, we want our visibility to be false. So visibility is handled very gracefully with just a single setter. So that's awesome. Oh, hey, Bad Cop. How's it going? We've downloaded 4.3 beta 1, and we're excitedly working on with the new TileMapLayer. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. There it is. TileMapLayers as nodes. We're very excitedly working with the new TileMapLayer, but it kind of broke everything. So we've redone our whole scene tree, and we're redoing all of our input stuff. And we've kind of gotten down to the bottom level of that. Yeah, there's a 4.3. I'm usually not the one to like jump onto beta versions of titles. But this TileMapLayer thing is so crucial for us because we've been having a lot of Z indexing issues using like, because we had like 16 tilemap layers and we're trying to do this like stacked boxes deal. And a bunch of the things in this tile map are scene collections. So we were just having a lot of issues with that. And we had started like programming around it and developing around it. And so I'm kind of glad we took a break from this project for a couple months because Godot went and solved the problem for us. And so we're having to refactor, but thankfully we're not having to refactor as much as we would have had to do if we had kept working on this game for the last 2 months and like come up with our own solution. So lucky for us. Kind of worked out the way that it did. So what we're doing here is we need to recreate this logic. So what we need to do is we need to figure out if the cutaway coordinates have changed. We can get rid of the cutaway accumulator. So we can say variable cumulative coordinates is vector 2i. We are running out of time. I might actually need to save this part for next time. I have a work meeting like right at 10 that I can't miss. So we might actually need to just raid somebody right now. Let me see. See who's streaming Godot right now. But this has been an awesome stream. Kind of sucks that we haven't had music, but I appreciate everyone hanging out anyway. Pretzel Rocks, do not recommend. Actively looking for alternatives. All right, who do we got in Godot right now? If anyone has some recommendations, I'm happy to take it. I'm not super familiar with my fellow small Godot streamers, but I definitely prefer doing that. But I also do like getting recommendations, so we don't just hop in and someone happens to be speaking like a different language than us, and it's this whole thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, just nice to be able to talk to the person. Oh, there's a spaceship. Someone's working on a spaceship game. Or maybe that's just their Windows background. Oh, they're playing No Man's Sky. They're in the Godot. They have a Godot tag, and I was like, oh, this is cool. It's spaceships. And then I look closer, and they're just playing No Man's Sky. Maybe gonna just be Sorcery Story. We love Sorcery Story here. For Bosses of Sauces, you might like Sorcery Story. They're doing all of their Godot game dev in C#. They're really rad. Highly recommend. Yeah, this has been awesome. Thanks everyone for hanging out. This has been pretty great. It's been a really great crowd today, keeping me company while I'm doing some pretty boring stuff. Sorry I had to run right as you showed up, Bad Cop. We should hang out sometime. We live in the same city. I know there's like no time, but I'm trying to get myself outside more. Good to have an excuse. I sit inside all day. Yeah, but that's it for today. Hope to see you y'all next time. Yeah, have a great rest of your day, y'all.